Salam, yes, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay, welcome everyone. And in this class, I'll be discussing about SQL and a bit of Visual Studio, C# coding, and going from there. Geez, I forgot to open my lectures. 1 second. Okay, my lecture here. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to show you was a bit of SQL stuff. Okay, so how to create tables and how to create do queries in SQL. So basically SQL is, before I go into this, SQL is the back end of the web app, with the website. So basically, for example, if you're creating a chatting website and you wanted to query when you're creating a chatting website, and when you click on the word like send to your fellow person that you're chatting with, that data is getting saved in SQL, right? And then eventually that data is getting retrieved in SQL as well, so the other person can see the data. Okay, so the database is necessary to be working in the background. Now, obviously, if it's a simple website that you're developing that just has like an about us, contact us page and those type of things, then you won't need SQL. But when you start developing complicated websites, then you definitely need SQLs. Like mobile apps, you'd see like my friend, he has a Quranic app website, and all that data of the Quran is getting stored inside the SQL, and then it's getting retrieved when a person starts reading the app. Okay, or if there's a registration form, that's a very simple one. If there's a registration form, that data is being saved in SQL. Okay, so that's what basically SQL is. Okay, you guys understand that? Yep. Okay. So so basically, if you go here in Google and if you type in SQL tutorials, I'll just go to Google. Okay, if you go to SQL tutorials in W3W school, okay, then you have this thing here, an example. Okay, select star from customers. Okay, this is a SQL query. Okay, so if we run that, okay, and we see here that there's tables. There's a customer table which has 91 records. Okay, think of a SQL table as an Excel sheet. Okay, so picture an Excel sheet in your mind. Okay, which has a bunch of fields or columns, right? So we have the customer name, the contact name, the address, the city, the postcode, the country. All right, and then we have the records. Okay, so I hope all of you guys have used Excel, so you understand that. So yeah, so basically you add the records. So here we have 91 records. We see here in the customer, we have 91 records, 91 records. So if you look at here, basically the customer ID, this is called the primary key. Okay, this is a unique number or a unique field or unique record value in the field where you can query the actual the actual record. Okay, so this is called the primary key. okay, the customer ID, okay? And then every time you create a record, this number gets incremented. So if there was one record here, then if you create the second record, this will automatically get incremented. That's how it should work, the primary key. Okay, so here we have select star from customers. That's a SQL query. Okay, so if you run that, your result would be 91 customers, right? Now, if you wanted to say select star from customers where customer ID being this one, right, equals he 1. You'll see the result is only one value. You guys see that? It's the first customer ID. If you want to say customer ID 10, run, then you get the customer ID number 10. Okay? So that select query is basically the way this works is you're selecting everything. This, I forgot to mention, this star means you're selecting every column. You're selecting every column from the customer table, right, where customer ID equals 10, all right? Let's just say you wanted to select 2-3 columns, customer name, contact name, and address, right? So we have here customer name, and then we separate it by comma, and we have contact name, we separate it by comma, and we have address. And we run this query. We're only going to get the three fields from the from the query. Okay, did you guys get that? Yeah, understood. Anyone? Everyone understood that? You can also do a query again. So let me just change this back to star. Star means everything, right? So if we change this where query to if we take out the where query, then we'll see all the records here. Now, if you wanted to query against the customer name, okay, so we wanted to query, let's just say we wanted to find a customer name called Antonio, right? Or this, we wanted to get this name from the database table, okay, or from this table, from the customer table. We would go where customer name equals, and you put a quote and the name of what you're querying, and then quote again, and you run the SQL query, and then you get Antonio. Okay, so basically that's how you do a SQL query. Okay, so that's the customer table. There's other tables here as well. There's like the order table. Order has 196 rows, right? So if we go select star from order, right, we'll get the, one second, what's happening here? From orders, sorry, orders. See, the table name has to be the same, orders. And now you're getting the result of the SQL query. Okay. All right. And again, if you wanted to get this orders looks like a relational table here. This is a bit different. I'll go more into relational tables in the SQL Server because this will confuse you a bit. But basically, the orders, I'll explain this a bit more to you, but if we go down to the order details, or let's just say suppliers, then we have what you call it. This is a good one. So again, we're in suppliers, and we say select star where from, sorry, where contact name equals here Charlotte Cooper, sorry, Charlotte Cooper, and we have it there. And then you can also use a like query. You just go like, where all the names start with, and use a percentage mark, and use a percentage mark at the end. All the names start with Charlotte, and you get this result there. So for example, if you wanted to find out all the names that start with C, right? Then you get all these results here. All the contact names that start with C, you get all the results here. Or that contain the word C, sorry, that contain the word C. If you want the word that starts with C, then you take this out and C, so the first letter is C, and anything after that, matching, we use a percentage sign, so anything after that, so anything that starts with C, we use C with a percentage mark. If you want to use something, so anything that ends with C, you use C there at the end, and percentage as you know, any character before that. And there's nothing that ends with C. Okay, well, if you want a word that just contains C, so C, percentage, and a percentage after that, and then we find all these words that contain the word C. So Michael has the word C there, Rob has the word C there, and C, and C there as well. Okay, and if you want to what you call it, delete if you wanted to delete a record, so if we just go select start from suppliers, and if we run this query, and if we say if we wanted to update a record, okay, we want to update the address of exotic liquid, okay. So what you do to update the address, you would go here, you would select this first, you would go here where supplier name being here, equals here exotic liquid, okay. And then what you'll do is, now you've got this value here, then you copy this, and we'll run an update, okay. Update suppliers, and we set the value of address. The address is equal to 1 George Street, Sydney. Okay, and that change has been done. Okay, so I'll show you the result. Select star from suppliers where supply name is Sydney. So I'll run it again, and we can see the address has been changed. Did you guys get that? Yeah?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Then you have a delete query. Okay, so we'll go back to select star from supply again. We've got all the records. All right. Then you want to delete a record here. So let's say we want to delete this record here. New Orleans Cajun Delight, right? So first we do is we go here, we do select query, select star from supplier where supplier ID equals the 2. Okay, we run this record, so we've got this value here. Now say if we wanted to delete this record, all right, what you'll do is you'd say here, you run the comment delete supplier where supplier ID is 2. Okay, you run that. Oh wait, there's been an error. Not prepared statement. Delete suppliers where supplier ID is 2. Delete from, let me try from. Yeah, that worked. Delete from suppliers where supplier ID is 2. You can see here you have made changes to the row to the affected database. Okay, so if we query again, if we go here, select star from suppliers where supplier ID 2, it should be, there'll be no result there. Okay, and if we query the whole supplier table, you see here 1, and it goes down to 3 because 2 has been deleted. You guys get that? Okay. So then the other one is an insert query. Okay, I'll show you insert with SQL Server. It's a bit more detail. So this is a platform where you can test. If you don't have SQL Server, you can go and test here and do your queries here. And if you want to restore the database with all the records again, so if you want to, so we're querying suppliers. So if we restore, and we'll just select OK, well, let's restore. You see suppliers has 28 records, and when I click OK and run it again, now suppliers is back to 29 records because I restored the database to what it was. Okay, we've got number 2 showing there. So this is just for testing, for your purposes where you can test and go from there. Okay, so let's go to the SQL Server database. This is the SQL Server here. I told you guys to install this. I'll put it as a shortcut. If you wanted to go here in the, if you did install this SQL Server Management Studio, okay, you can click on here and go there. All right, I'll just put a shortcut there. It's just loading. Should be loading by now. Let me minimize this. Okay, it's just doing some things in the background. Okay. All right. It's loading. This is SQL Server database. Okay. I have two instances, so I'll just close one of them. Right. Let me just open it again. So, did everyone install SQL Server? Or did some people didn't manage to install SQL Server? Right? Anyone here installed SQL Server?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Who's that? Who are you?
Adnan.
Anand Bhai. Okay. Right. So you what you call it? All right. Cool. This is SQL Server. Okay. So then if you wanted to query the SQL Server database, just 1 second. SQL Server details. All right. This is the local database server name it tells you to create. Local host, which is the local database here, and the SQL Server. And so now, when you work in a company, this local host will probably be a name of the server in the company. So if the server name is dev SQL 1, it might be dev SQL 1, and then the instance name. Yeah. So if we connect here, and you can authenticate as SQL Server agent and as Windows Authentication. Windows Authentication is just my user, it's logging in as myself. But a SQL Server Authentication, you can create that as a login and password when you install SQL Server, or I think you can create that later on. But right now I have Windows Authentication, what you call it, yeah, so yeah. But if you guys have issues struggling into installing SQL Server or what you call it, or like loading the Management Studio, then let me know, and we can have a one-on-one meeting or something like that. I could give you some guidance to show you how to install it correctly or something like that. Okay. So basically, before I start, the way I'll show you to install SQL Server is here. You go here, SQL. You go here, SQL Server Express. Here's the SQL Server Express edition. You just open this. Right. And this is, you can download here, SQL Server Express. Okay, and you can follow the prompts and go from there. Okay. So SQL Server, this is SQL Server. So let's connect. Okay. So I've logged in my SQL Server. So this is the database, right? Currently there's no database. All right, these are the system database, so we can ignore that. But if we want to create a database, we could go create it. There's security settings here, which is you want to create more logins and stuff. If you were connected to a network and you wanted other people to log in, you could get them to log in as well. So yeah, currently you can see here that in the login, my name is here. So I'm part of the login. And if you look at the access, if we just go here in the login, we look at the server roles. I'm a system admin. When you're a system admin, sysadmin. When you're a sysadmin, you have access to the whole database. Okay, I think that's one of the highest permissions that you have. Okay. All right. And the security is the main thing you got to concern about. In management, you can create policies which you could, like, if you wanted to back up the database every day. I think that's done in management. I don't think I can do it here. I think I'm not sure. But anyway, you could, if you wanted to do backups every day or something, like you're in production, you got a SQL Server running in your live environment, where people are using it. So basically, what you call it, you wanted to do a backup of it, so you can do backups and do all that in management. I can't show you properly here, but yeah. So right now we don't have any databases to back up, but he would do the backups. Okay. So let's go and create a database. Okay, so we right click here and go new database. All right, we'll call this employee, or you can call it employee DB. I'll call it employee DB. Actually, I'll just call it employee database. Okay, employee, or I should say employees database. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just creating employees database. Everything else, leave it as default. You don't have to change anything else. Click on OK. And you can see here employees database has been created. Okay, and if you expand here, you have database diagram, which is the diagram which you can create to link your tables and create relationships. Your views, your tables here, this is where you literally create your database table. This table is the same as this table here. These are the table names. Okay, I'll go through all the tables. You got your views. You can modify the table views. If you wanted to link two tables together, you can show that in the view here. Program out, I don't know about these ones here, but programmability, these are where you store all your queries. Stored procedure is one of the main things you'll be using here. This is a query where you can reference this query in your C# coding in your website. So you could do stored procedure here. Functions, you can functions is you could use that within a query to if you're doing a repetitive query all the time, you could put that in a function, right? I should let you know when I say query is this thing here. This thing here is a query. All right, when you're selecting from suppliers, that's a query. Okay, or if you're deleting something, delete from suppliers, that's a query as well. Okay, if I want to delete from suppliers, all right, that's a query as well. Okay. All right, I don't use the other ones much. Triggers, you can use as triggers if data is inserted into a database table. You can do a trigger to, if you want to do something after that when the data is inserted into a table or something like that. And you can, and these I haven't used these ones that much. Okay, and then you got your security here as well. You got the security inside the table, inside the database as well. So you got one security at the high level, which is the overall database server, and then you got this security, which is part of the employees table. So it's the employees security, and if you expand this, then the users, then these are the people that if you want specific people to have access to only this database, you can right click and you can add a new user and you can add them in here. Okay. Currently, the reason why I'm able to see this database, I mean, you're not able to see my name here, Murtaza, right? You can see my name here and Murtaza in the security here, but you can't see it here because the reason why I have access to this database, which I just created, the employees, is because I have system admin privileges, so I don't need to add myself as a user specifically for each database. So I just wanted to show you the system admin again. If I click on it, or if I go right click properties, the role I have is system admin here. Therefore, I don't need to go in and give myself privileges to each database. But if we were to give privileges, we click on new user, we go to the owner schema, we can say that this person has only write access to the database, read access. If he is a DB owner, then that's the highest privileges he can have for the database. Okay, but you got other privileges here as well. Okay, so let's create a table. All right, let's start simple. I know some of the words I use here is a bit complicated because you guys are probably new to, for those people that are new to database and database tables, it's a bit complicated. So let's right click here. Actually, let's go to the table here and create a new table. All right, remember we had the suppliers and the customer details. We had the customers here. We have the suppliers here. So we'll create a table here as well. So I just went right click and new table, or right click table. Now here we have our table view or table design, right? So I'll just show you again. Let me just close this. I went right click table. Okay, so we came here. And now these are the fields. What fields do we want to add, or what columns do we want to add to our table? Okay, so the first thing we'll have is an employee ID. Okay, now these are the data types. The data types you'll have as you have a whole bunch of data types here. But the main data types is either an int, which is an integer, which is just a number. Okay. You have varchar or varchar. You can have varchar or varchar, which is a text value. So this 50, the word 50 in here is, you can see here, is it says that you can only store 50 records, sorry, 50 characters in this column. Okay, 50 here. So for example, in the if you go back here, and if this was an varchar 50, right, then only 50 characters is allowed in this record. Okay. All right. If you add more than 50 characters, it won't insert the characters, or it won't add those extra characters for you. So you can specify here, you can go up to 4,000 characters. And just keep in mind, if you do 4,000, then it takes more size of your what you call it, the database table. So if you're only using first name, right? So usually first name would not have more than 50 characters in there. But so usually we just leave that as first name. All right. So if this was the first name column, then I'll put it here, first name. This will be varchar 50. All right. You'll have a last name. You'll have varchar 50. But if you have an address, you probably want to have in bar chart how many characters, or what's the maximum number of characters that can be an address. Say 200. Sounds about right. Or if you wanted to increase that, you can go to 500 characters in an address. Okay. The employee ID here, this has to be an int. This is a employee ID. This has to be set as a primary key. Right click, you right click here, and you go select as set as primary key. Primary key is the unique identifier for the record. So this here is the primary key. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Every time you create a record, it increments. All right. So what you call it? That's the primary key here. Okay. So we have a primary key int. All right. And we want it to increment every time. All right. So if you go to identity, we go to properties. Yeah, we go identity specification. When we say increment, we say yes, increment. Increment one record all the every time. So every time you create a new record, it adds the new record number. So here, if I was to create a new record here in the what you call it, in the supplier ID, right? If I was to create a new record, so the next, if I was to create a new record, so there's 29 records here. If I was to create if I was to create another record, then the next record, the next row value would be 30. Okay, and if I was to create another record after that, that value would be 31, and so on and so on. Right? So if we get back to our database table here, so we have employee ID, we have first name, we have last name, we have address, and we'll have phone. Okay. Now, even phone number is an integer, but sometimes you have space in between it, so it's better to have that as a text value, as an instruction. All right. All right, and if you wanted to add any more columns here, you can add it. Right. So if we go here, right click, and we'll go save table, and we'll call this employee. All right, employee. All right, that's done. So if we go here, right here there's no tables. If we do a refresh, we have the employees table here. Okay, so I'll just go out from design view. We go right click, edit employees. Just loading. All right. So here we have an employees table. So if I create my first record, right? If I say first name Donald Trump, now you don't need to fill out employee ID because that's an incremental value primary key. So Donald Trump address, he is 1 George Street, Washington, right? Washington DC. Phone number 99999. This is just dummy data. And if I hit the tab, I'll hit the tab value here, and you can see it's created the employee ID for me. All right, so there's one record here in the employee table right now. If I add another value called here George Bush, We can say he 30 Phillip Street, Sydney, phone number 8888. You can see here it's created a record here for me. Okay. So if we can go here, right click here, and we can go here, select top 1,000 rows. All right, if you do that, just 1 second. So this what you call it, this that you see here, what you call it, this employee table. So this is your query. Okay, select, ignore the top one. Just top is just the view, the most recent top. You know, if you top one, it'll only show one record, right? I hit Alt X, which is the execute button, so, which is a shortcut. If I go here with the execute, here we go, execute. So top one, so it'll only show the first column. It'll only show the one record, top first record. All right. So let's ignore the top. That'll be confusing. So if we go here, select, we execute. Yep. We've got all these records now. So we're selecting all the column names, first name, last name, address, phone. So we can go here and do this as well. Select star, and it'll do the same thing. If we execute, select star means selecting all the column names. Okay. Now this is the reason why this was by employees, is because employees is a database table here named here. Okay, so just add employees, and this is the I think this is the schema name, DBO. And we've got DBO here, DBO.employees. Just don't get too concerned about DBO. Don't want you to focus on that. Let's get slightly a bit more advanced. And then you got the employee table here. Employee. Okay, so we can go here directly here. Now we're in this database here already. When you have one database, we can see one database. This master, this model, this MSDB, these are system databases. So ignore that. This is our custom database that we just created employee. So we're already in the employee database. If we select start from employee and we execute that, we'll get the records here. All right, now if I change this to one of the system database, master database, and if I execute again, it should give me an error because it should say there's no employee over here. Okay, so the system database, this is the master database is here. These are the master database. You don't need to worry about the master database. Just ignore that it's there. Okay, you don't need to worry about that. All right, just like we had the what you call it? Where was it? This query here. Select start from suppliers. We're doing here. Select start from employees. Okay. Now if we want to do something in credit primary key. So if we want to say where employee ID equals E2, so we go there. Employee ID equals E2. Then we should get the George Bush record. Okay. And just so you know, you don't need to have this open bracket, close bracket. You can take this out as well. you know, you can execute like this and you get the result. Okay, the open bracket and close bracket is just there for you know, specifying, but just there for you know, if you need to require it. Okay, so think of a real life application, right? You have a staff administration website, and you wanted to insert all your data to your what you call it. You want to insert all your records to your what you call it to your database. So this is where you'll be inserting. Okay. So let's I've done the delete and update. So if we, again, the same way that the update works here. So if we want to update the phone number here. So if you want to update the phone number of George Bush, okay, we would go here and say here we'll do an update. Update set phone equals here, we'll say here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and we execute that. One row effective. Okay, so if we were to do select query again, we're going to select start from employee where employee ID student. Right, where employee ID equals 2. So if we just query that, it's done that there, okay? Now when I hit execute, because I highlighted this, it's only executing this code. Okay, it's not executing this code. Okay, so I could plug this code out and just close it out. Okay, or I could delete it and just get rid of it. And so you can see here the employee ID 2, who is George Bush. His phone number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, it's the same way as you saw in here. Okay, so we do an update query. I showed you guys that already. Okay, so we do that there. Okay, now one thing I haven't shown you guys is the insert. Okay, so if we take this where clause out, we have to do a query. So we have 2 records, right? We have Donald Trump, we have George Bush. Okay, now if we want to add another record, okay, so we right click here. We have to do an insert query. So script, create. So we'll just do that. So it's creating all the syntax asked for here. Sorry, not this one. Sorry, not this one. This is the wrong one. Let me just close it. If you go right click, script, insert, new query. No, insert, okay. So this is the query to insert. So insert into first name, last name, address, phone. These are the column names. Okay, you don't have the what you call it, the employee ID. You don't need to insert into employee ID. That automatically gets created. And you specify the value here, right? First name, right? What's the first name value? The first name value is what you call it? We'll have it. Barack Obama address value here as 3 Liverpool Street, London. Or you can write the full address here if you want to, but you know. And the phone number will have it as.
Oh, I was like, I'm not going to go on this. You move out of your way. So I also.
I'm not able to understand.
No, it's
Hello?
all. I told him that.
Hello?
नहीं वो तो हो चुका है भाईजान, हो चुकी है डेट। वो असल में मेरा डेटा ऑन नहीं था। मैं तो जब शुरू की थी जब आपको भेजा था, फिर वो जब 4 राउंड कर लिए तो फिर मुझे ख्याल आया कि डेटा ही ऑन नहीं है। अस्सलाम वालेकुम। मैं कह रहा हूँ कि मैं सही से
कैसी है?
वीक है ना रिकवरी, और ये हाँ, और सिस्टम में इतनी दवाइयाँ पंप पेन आ रही है और सब पेन किलर्स एंड ऑल, यू मस्ट बी ज़ैप्ड आउट।
अभी हर्बल शुरू भी नहीं
कर
सकते हैं।
हाँ
वो सब
हाँ, उसका वेयर ऑफ ही नहीं होता। तो खूब पानी पी रही हैं ताकि शी नीड्स टू गेट इट फ्लश्ड आउट ऑफ हर किडनी। जो कोई पाकिस्तानी खाना बना रहा है, पूछना है उससे। इस वाले घर में क्या बात कर रहे हैं? तो वो अपना बैंगन और सब्जियां लगाते थे, वो चले गए बेच-बाच। ओह, but they owned it.
And it was
This
for
is a
sale.
nice house. It has a basement. ले लें, खुला है। मुस्लिम एड की पेमेंट्स बाहर हो गई हैं, खुला है, ले लें। चेंज है ना मेरे पास आजकल 1-2 मिलियन का, तो खरीद लेते हैं। अच्छा, मैंने इनसे कहा फ्राइडे को कि आई थिंक यू लॉस्ट राइट, तो कह रहे हैं इतने बदतमीज में कह रहे हैं no, it's all still there. Still there.
Something went wrong, I think.
अच्छा भाईजान, मेरी वेब डेवलपमेंट की क्लास है और नहीं क्या हो ही नहीं रहा, मुझे कुछ समझ ही नहीं आ रही है, अजीब। चलो हाँ, ऑलराइट। इसको मैंने वैसे ही एक एक्स्ट्रा राउंड करा दिया। हेलो, चलो बस ओके।
अगर आपने अपना वेब को खरीदा है,
नहीं भाई, मैं नहीं कर रहा। हाँ बस ठीक है। हाँ, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रही, समझ ही नहीं आ रही मुझे। वो उसमें चले गए हैं काफी खाला, मतलब वो शोइंग है।
नहीं लगाते हो, वॉक करते रहते हैं।
हाँ ये तो है, लेकिन वो फिर स्क्रीन भी देखनी होती है। वेयर इट्स जूम, बैटरी पावर अलग कम हो गई है 15%।
Okay. So basically, we put in the what you call it. Sorry, I couldn't hear you guys properly. I don't know why. What you call it? I'm able. I think you guys can hear me, but I'm not able to hear you guys properly. Maybe something wrong with that. But anyway, what you call it? So yes, we put in the phone number here. We'll just put the 3333333, right? And if we run this, if we execute this, Barack Obama, one row affected, okay. So if we select the employee table here, I'll just go to the upper window that we have, execute. So we have Barack Obama here. Okay, so I'll just show you here the insert. All right, insert into the employee table. So first name, you have Barack. Last name Obama. Address, you have the address here, and the phone number, you have it here. So if you wanted to create another record which has only, if you wanted to insert the first name and last name, you just go here, first name and last name. And call this King Abdullah. Alright, we'll execute this. Right. Okay. Right, and we'll go here. And we'll execute this again. And I'm thinking Abdullah here now. Because we only added the first and last name, the address was a null value. A null value means there's no value in there. And the phone was a null value in there as well. Okay. Okay. So that's how we do the insert. Now, if we want to delete, say, Barack Obama, we just have to do where employee ID equals 3, you know, which is employee ID. We can say where the first name equals the Barack. Or we can record Barack. Executing. Execute. That was the first thing. Just put that with first name. Not wrong. The first name. So the column name has to be the same as the, even though the column name is spelled wrong. It should be NA, but I put in. So you can update that later. You can go back here and right click and go to design view, and you can change, you can update that here. In the design view. The column here in ME, so just change it in NAME, and we'll save that again. Right, so that's up the okay now. Yeah. And if we go back here, this crew shouldn't work anymore because I updated the column name. Okay, so if I put the A here, it should work. So Barack Obama, see where first name equals Barack. Okay, if I was to delete this, I'll just go here. I'll just go here, delete from employee there, first name is Barack. You can execute that. It's deleted one right. Okay, so if we go back to a select query, select start from employees.
Sorry, Mustafa, the voice is not clear since someone just, unmute the mic. We can't hear you properly.
My voice is not clear, is it? Can you guys hear me?
No, we can't hear you. Like it's totally, disrupted.
Okay. Okay, maybe I know what I'll do. What I can do is, I think maybe something wrong with this chat session. Maybe I can create a new chat session. Or, so now I can enable, is that correct? Anyone can hear me? Anyone?
Can it's distorted.
Okay, there's something wrong with my session. I'll probably have to. I'll probably would have to close my. I'll probably have to restart my computer, and then start this session again. Is that okay? Everyone? Hello?
Yeah, that's okay.
I'll restart this session again. Yeah, I'll